So this is a continuation video. Initially I wanted to see around 2:30 to 2:45 what the sunlight conditions are in this backyard garden, which I guess if you characterize a type of garden, it's a woodland garden because it's totally wooded, as you can see, but it has dappled shade and, you know, part sun areas because the trees are old and very narrow. So there are a lot of gaps and holes in the canopy, which allows a lot of sunlight in. But it's primarily a shady area. So I always call it a part shade garden. So this is around 2:30, 2:45. I'm way in the back. This right here, this tree is due to be removed and the stump grinded within the next 2 weeks. Oh, here goes a plane. Pretty tall tree. All right, the plane has passed. Okay, so let's kind of pan in over here. I think I was saying towards the last bit of the previous video, this is going to be a hydrangea bed over here. Hydrangeas tend to do really well in this garden because it's a lot of part sun areas, and most of my hydrangeas are PG hydrangeas, which are paniculata. And paniculata specifically refers to the bloom shape, which it's kind of cone shaped like a panicle, like a narrow triangle. So that's, and then also the leaves will tell you. See that? Very pointy leaves, much more narrow. So anyhow, this is a little lamb, and they tend to get in this area. Let's get that tag. They tend to get between 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. All right, so clearly at maturity, which is anywhere between 5 to 10 years, if these are to stay where they're placed presently, it will pretty much be a hedge. All right, it'll pretty much be a hedge. This one right here, which is a similar hydrangea, paniculata hydrangea that is called Sweet Summer. And sorry for jumping around like this, guys. It's a lot of bugs back here. There are a lot of bugs back here. So this one gets to be between 4 and 5 feet high and 4 to 6 feet wide. So like I said, at maturity, if these were to stay where they are, they'll pretty much form a hedge. So maybe what I'll do is put this one right here. So let me back up here onto this other bed. Looking at that bed, or that future bed. So what I'm gonna have is a 3.5 to 4 feet walkway. Let me see. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So between 3 and 4 feet walkway in between these two beds. All right, so those two are going to pretty much form a hedge. And I mean, all of these back here, this one here is a macrophilia or a macrophylla. Sorry if I'm butchering the Latin terminology. So it's a macrophylla, and those are the typical mop head type hydrangeas. As you can see, the flowers are more like circular shaped or mop shaped versus the panicle shape. Swing back here to the back of the border, probably about 6 feet or 5 and 6 feet from this fence. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5. That's a good distance from this fence. This right here is a variegated hydrangea, and it gets to be approximately 8 to 10 feet tall and wide. So, and that's from center. So looking at the center, you would go, if I said it was going to be 8 feet wide, I would go 4 feet from the center this way, which was roughly towards the fence, and then an additional 4 feet this way. Okay, hope it's not confusing you guys, but anyway, the center of the plant is just that, and 8 feet spread would be in both directions. So that'll create, at maturity obviously, which is between 5 and 10 years, a very nice mound back here, and it's variegated, so it'll be pretty in between these two trees. And towards the front, you got the mop head, the macrophylla. By the way, that variegated is also a macrophylla. Okay, moving on. Here is another sweet summer hydrangea, which has already been planted and sheet mulched with cardboard and bark mulch. So panning back for this little bed, you got a sweet summer, which I already told you grows roughly 5 feet tall and wide. You're gonna have a little space in between, and that macrophylla, which is about 4 to 5 feet, probably even 6 feet tall and wide. That variegated, which is also macrophylla, is going to be close to 8 to 10 feet tall and wide. And that other sweet summer and the little lamb. So that'll be a pretty sight back here. A nice pretty hedge. All right, so moving on. These are some really good conditions back here for part shade garden. So that's all I came out here to do real quick. And obviously observing all the work that's ahead of me. But that's the experience. That's the journey with gardening. You have to start someplace, and it's continuous. There'll always be revisions. There'll always be things that need to be added and taken away, and you're always moving along with it. You know, it's a symbiotic relationship. Well, I saw that little treat you left me right there. It's always a symbiotic relationship. So, all right, guys, that's it. Stay tuned for the next update.